Cars. We love them. They bring us joy and make memories with us. They are like part of a family. But what happens when they break or need a service? Modern cars have all sorts of electronic modules on board. Most people have to go to the mechanic. However, there are devices out there that enable us, mere mortals, to diagnose, fix and even service our cars ourselves. Welcome everyone to the review of the iCarsoft CR Pro. Let's start with the specs. With a 4-inch display and external memory, it is ideal for mobile and uncompromising use. Just watch how easy it is to set up. Alright, let's get to it. The device operates with a D-pad and buttons. No touch screen here, but the buttons do a great job of making navigating the menus quite easy. Going into a help menu will take you through a bit of reading about OBD, its mode and vehicle coverage. It's okay if you're already familiar with that, but if you're a beginner, you will want to do more research online. Let's go to Diagnostics. And this is where the device shines. Being a multi-brand tool, you can choose from many manufacturers. Over 40 in fact, as iCarsoft states. Gone are the days of cables with licenses for 1 or 3 VINs. This is all you need. Your success will vary from car to car, of course. Anyway, I really like the way that you can scroll up and down any long lists just by pressing the side keypads. That's genius move. You can do smart scans, which automatically do scans, or enter manually the modules that you want to query on your car. It is important, of course, that you realize that the ignition has to be on. So if you don't switch ignition on, then you will get a message like this. Just ensure the ignition is in the on position, and then the device will communicate with the onboard computer reasonably quickly, especially since the device reads a lot of data. Once you're done reading the module, you're presented with a menu where you can read module's information, read and clear faults, as well as plotting live data. As you can see, in this instance, there is an error of translation from probably Chinese. This only happened once during my testing, so it's not a huge deal. Let's look at Smart Scan mode. This is going to go through all the modules it can find on the car and read all diagnostics information. It is a complete test of the car's computer, so naturally it will take a while to read, but not too long in my findings. Do not be startled by noises or lights coming on the cluster, as that is just part of the process. Once the smart scan process is finished, you will be presented with a list of the modules it did find on the car. Note, this lists all the modules on your car, so there is no indication so far of any faults. Now, one improvement I would suggest for this device is for some sort of indication of any faults found during the scan process. As it stands, you do have to go one by one through each of the module menus and read the faults individually, of course, if any. In this case, we do have an error which I didn't know about. A quick Google tells me it's potentially something to do with the car's alarm or ultrasonic sensors. I can save it for later reference, and then I will have to do some troubleshooting on my car later. Good thing we have that external storage, right? Now I must research the code in order to find what possible car part can trigger it. That's not something I know at the time of filming, but I will show you the workflow that you can follow in order to troubleshoot. Now let's imagine that the mirror switch can trigger the code we saw. Then I would want to see the state at which it is, and that is something that I can see here in the lab view, all with this unit. This is fantastic. So I can close the door and then I can switch to the left side, and you can see that it switches left, right, and that lets you know what state that part is, and that's how you would take a look at the live data. This really helps with troubleshooting because then you can see the live data of different parts of the car, and that way you can easily find faults and problems. I will now clear the code to see if it comes back. Sometimes a low or weak battery can trigger this type of code. Remember, I already stored the code if I need to reference it later, so this is very helpful. Okay, the operation is done, and if I go back and read again, then there should be no code found, which is the case, and if it doesn't come back, then there is no problem. Now, here is a demo of how accurate the smart scan is. In this case, we are in a 20-year-old VW Golf which has 4Motion, and it's been correctly detected. If I were to be experiencing issues, I could read some data about it and troubleshoot it, for example, the pump and so on. Back at the main menu, we find the next best bit about this unit, under service. It has a few special functions that allow you to perform several tasks that are usually reserved for the dealers or professionals. Here you can, for example, reset your oil service interval, which means you no longer depend on the dealer for your own car service. It's worth noting that the level of flexibility on resetting your oil interval will largely depend on your car's brand as well as the age of the vehicle. In my case, my VW Golf allows me only to perform the default reset. Okay, good enough for me. Going back to the service menu, you will find many other options such as battery reset, electronic throttle control, steering angle sensor, electronic parking brake reset, ABS bleeding, etc, etc. It's a very flexible unit. Another cool function is to read live voltage from your battery. Let's say you don't want your battery running out halfway a special procedure like an ABS bleed. That would be bad. Additionally, many electronics will throw up codes randomly if the battery is weak. Next, we have the review section. And do you remember when we registered or when we saved those codes that I took while reading the unit? Well, here they are. So I can recall them at any time, and they are stored well accessible within the menus. Here is even a reading that I made earlier. With this unit, you can also look up the TC codes. This can give you further information and insight about the code. Let's look at a random code that came to my head while speaking. Let's go for P0085. So just select it with the D-pad up and down and go for it. Going to the setup menu, you can change your unit's language. You can change the units of measure. You can switch the buzzer off for key presses. You can clear the unit's data or even factory reset it. So yeah, some good functions there, nothing out of the ordinary. Finally, going into the About menu, you will find all the versions for each single program that the unit has. So, you know, for each brand, for each function, special function, for example, and so on. To update it, you need to connect a cable through the provided USB port, and then you need to connect it to a computer where you have to go to the website and then download a program that allows you to update it. This unit is quite fantastic, frankly. very rugged, very light as well. The buttons feel strong, the display is nice, and it's reasonably quick. For the price, you can't really beat it. Alright, so we've looked at it on this car. Let's go and hook it up into another car. Let's see what happens. Alright, so now we are in an Audi RS6. This is the C5 model from 2004-2005 with the 4.2 liter Biturbo V8 engine. As you can see, the CR Pro can connect to the Audi and communicate with the onboard computers without any issue. Multi-manufacturer, it rocks. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've done a smart scan of camera and it's come back with a code indicating an issue with the engine speed sensor. This is a surprise to me, to say the least, but we have a good showcase for Diagnostics here. So let's investigate together. I'm going to record it and then take a look at the live data. To start, I will want to look at the data sensor itself. This is to confirm the issue indicated in the code. I scroll down the menu, find the sensor in question, and then select it and start the live data session. The sensor is showing 0 RPM, which is okay, the engine is off. Let's start it up, and oh, look, the live data contradicts the code. The next step is to take a look at other type of data. With the engine stabilizing from a cold start, I am looking at different parameters, none of which show an overly abnormal situation for this type of car at this age. So why the code? One possibility is a weak battery. Let's see if it's charging up. And yep, it's charging up fine. I will clear the code to see if it will come back later. This is standard procedure, particularly as I suspect a weak battery is the issue in this case. Remember, I have stored the code for future reference in the CR Pro, so this is no problem. Now let's take a look at the battery voltage with the engine off. And as suspected, the battery is weak. The voltage is well below where it should be, especially since the car was running for a while right now, so this confirms our diagnostic. Let's just make sure that my code is safely stored. So I go to test 001, vehicle selection, and there it is, A6, smart scan, and my code is nice and safe. Looking through additional data, I found an error that tells me that there is a problem with the navigation unit, which is okay. It's not in the car, so I was surprised it picked it up. That's cool. Another thing that piqued my interest was the number of keys coded into my car. I only have 2, but there are 3, so someone out there has a key to my car. I will have to correct that soon. Let's look at what you will get in the box. So here's the box, in good quality with a few details about the product. There are the specifications and special functions are listed on the other side of the box. Product description is in multi-language for the European market. And then you have a few mentions about the product and the company. Opening the box, we find the pouch. It is nice to the touch, fairly small and easy to carry. It will protect the product against some damage, although you might want to keep heavy objects off it as there is no protection against crushing. Opening up the pouch reveals a nice cushion interior which will protect the product rather well. Here is the cable. This cable will connect the unit to the car. So there is a serial port that goes to the unit and then there is an OBD connector that goes to the car. A mini USB cable will be provided to update the unit to the latest version of software. And here is the unit itself. Nice, rugged, good materials, in all quite light. The screen size is comfortable to use, particularly when you are in mobile situations where you need to take the unit out and do a reading very easily. The ports are very rugged, so you will have no problems losing connections or anything like that. On the lower part of the unit you will find the memory slot and as well as the port for connecting the cable, which will then connect to a computer. The memory provided is a 16 GB micro SD and it slots there very nicely. Then you have the rest of the package, which is the manual. It comes in a nice plastified material. Graphics are really good and understandable, and the menus get into quite a bit of detail as to how to use the device. All in all, quite comprehensive, quite good. Silica packages will keep your unit nice and dry. And that's all there is in the package. All in all, very complete and easy to use. Finally, let's take a look at the update process. It's super simple. All you have to do is plug in your device to the PC, download the software from iCarsoft's website, and then just run the update procedure. Once it's done, it will restart and your unit will have all the latest software. So, on to the final thoughts. Who is this unit for? Well, it says it right in the box, the DIYers. People who like working on their car, or cars. For the price of one service where I live, I could buy this unit and do it all myself. And that says it all. Full disclosure, iCarsoft provided the review unit, I received no compensation, and they will see this review at the same time as you. Thank you for joining us, and please join us next time. Take care.